Hi everyone, today's video is an Excel tutorial. We will talk about different lookups, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. I know that many people, no matter how long they've been using Excel, sometimes find those lookups difficult and confusing. Excel lookups are similar to joins in SQL and they're similar to joins in Python. So by learning Excel, you're setting a foundation for then learning SQL and Python. If you're new to this channel, I'm Karina, I'm a finance person turned data analyst turned data scientist, and now I share my knowledge with other people online. If you've been using programming languages or you used SQL before, you know that VLOOKUP is similar to left join. So imagine you have two data sets and lookups are always used to look up values. So you have data in different tables, in different arrays, on different tabs, to different files. So you need to combine data from various sources. For example, we have these two data sources. One has this customer, quantity, price, transaction dates the customer made, and then another data set has information about total sales or total purchases made by customer. You want to have all this information plus total amount. So you want to look up this total amount from this data set and add it here. So VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. And how to use it? We say VLOOKUP. First, we're selecting lookup value. So in the data set you are looking up to, you select this lookup value. In our case, it is A2, so it is customer ID. Lookup value is something that exists in both datasets. So when you're looking up value in both datasets, there should be a column that is exactly the same. In our case, customer ID exists in both datasets, comma, then we need to select a table array. This is where we want data from. We want it from our second dataset, and we're selecting the whole dataset. Comma, then we're selecting column index number. In our case, it's number 2 because we want total amount, comma, and then we need to select exact match or approximate match. Most of the time you want exact match, that's why we're saying false, and we need to close our brackets, enter, and that's it. And if you want to be able to drag the formula, you need to use absolute reference. Absolute reference is when we add in $sign in front of our cells. If you look here, we have N1 020 because that's our range. But once we start dragging a formula, it moved from N1 020 to N2 021. But we always want to look up from this dataset. We don't want to move it. In order to be able to drag a formula and that formula doesn't change for a specific part, you need to add $sign. So we add $sign for our column and $sign for our row, and we do it for both. And now once we drag in our formula, N1 020 don't change, they stay exactly N1 020. Another important thing to say about VLOOKUP, for example, our second table has total amount on the left and customer ID on the right. We have our matching value, our lookup value, customer ID, but VLOOKUP will not work in this situation because let's say we want to say VLOOKUP, lookup values is A2, we select in our table array, we start calculating column index starting from this matching value. So our customer ID is 1 and looks like our total amount is -1. We want to look up -1 column, but unfortunately it doesn't work with VLOOKUP. You can try like this, but it's not gonna work. You see, it is an error. Always in that case, this matching value should be the very first column in our array. But now this can be solved with XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is a new addition to Excel and it can solve this problem which I've just shown to you. For example, our total amount is on the left, very first column, our customer ID is second column. And again, we want to get total amount from this table and add it to this table. So let's use XLOOKUP. So first, again, we're selecting lookup value will be customer ID, comma. Now we need to say lookup array, and lookup array, it's not the whole array like last time, but it is the column that is matching our lookup value. Our lookup array will be column N. It will be from N1 to N20. And then we need to select a return array, and the return array is our M column. So we're selecting from M1 to M20. And then we can close our brackets, and it worked. And in this case, it doesn't matter in which order the columns are, where they're located. In this example, we don't even need to indicate the index of the column, so to say that it is column 6 or 12. Let's say we want to look up on the opposite way. We want to add to this data, we want to add a payment method. So again, we say XLOOKUP, lookup value, customer ID, lookup array, we're looking it up in this return array. I want to get payment method. So I'm selecting just this column. If something not found, you can add in quotes, for example, not found. You can completely skip this parameter. You can add a specific word, for example, not found. So if something is not working, we can see not found. In the previous example, we had approximate match or exact match. So with VLOOKUP, you have two options, but with XLOOKUP, you have exact match, which is false or 0, -1, which is exact match or next smaller item, 1 for exact match or next larger item, and 2 for wildcard character match. But let's keep it 0, let's have exact match. And then we can select the search mode from first to last, last to first, or sorted ascending order, sorted descending order. Let's keep it this way, and let's just close our brackets. So now we have payment method for all our customer IDs. And the last thing, let's have a look again at XLOOKUP, but we will change some of the parameters. So for example, again, we want to look up value our customer ID. So our lookup array will be A2 to A20, and we want to add our absolute reference. So to add absolute reference, you need to highlight the reference to the cell, and on Mac computer you hit Command T. On Windows computer you hit F4. That will allow you to have this absolute reference. Then we select in return array, and we want, for example, the price. Again, we're selecting this Command T in my case, and now we have the reference. You can see that row 8, 9, 10, and 11, it's exactly the same customer ID. So I created duplicate values. So if not found, we say not found. Match mode, we will still do our exact match. For search mode, we will try something different. This time, we will try search last to first. So -1. And let's close our brackets. Let's drag our formula and see what happened. So first of all, because I replaced some of the values with a duplicate customer ID, now we don't have these 3 customers. So of course we have not found. But let's look what happened to this duplicate value. So this is the one. If we highlight it, and let's add some color so we can see what's happening here. And let's highlight it here. Because we set to look up from last to the first, this is the last row, and we got this value instead of this one. So by default, if you have duplicate values, VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP always look up the very first value. But with XLOOKUP, you actually can say, no, I don't want first value, I want the last value. And the last but not least, let's talk about HLOOKUP. So HLOOKUP stands for horizontal lookup. It's used more rarely than VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP now, but it's more common for people who work in finance, because if you work in finance, you work with financial models that usually have data by months or by day, by years, and it always goes on and on to many columns, not rows. Let's say you have this financial model that has revenue and overheads. Then you have a first tab where you want to just summarize data, and you just want to say revenue as of December 24, December 25th. You want to get a revenue on that date. So of course you can just do it manually. For example, you do this and that's the value you want to get. But another option to use HLOOKUP. We need the value that can help us to look up things. So it's something that should be matching between this dataset and this dataset. For example, we want it as of December. So here we will put December. If it doesn't look good on your final model, you either hide it, you make it small like this. Other option, I sometimes make it white so no one knows that there is a value, but if you jump into the cell, you can see there is a value. This is how it's often done with financial models. So let's use HLOOKUP to get this data. So we say HLOOKUP, again, lookup value like before. In this case, it will be our B19, table array. It will be the whole array. Something that matches B19 should be our very first column. So row 2 should be our very first row in the table array. And now we will select the whole array. We will hit Command T or F4 to make absolute reference, comma, row index number, which row we want. We want total revenue, which is the 8th row. And again, we say if we want exact match or approximate match, we want exact match, which is false. And close the brackets, and we got our 68, so that's the value we want. And we can drag this formula and do the same for year 2, 84, let's double check, 84. So of course, if you have a big data, a lot of rows, a lot of columns, you don't want to do it manually like we've done before with references a cell, you can make it more automatic with HLOOKUP. Well, that's it for Excel for today. If you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe. It means a lot to me, and I hope to see you next time.